Welcome back to Who Died Today USA channel. In the past few days, we have received somber news about the passing of extraordinary talents. Today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. Additionally, we will recap the stars we have recently lost. Before we begin, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Thank you. Rufus Lee Cooper III, better known as Young Noble, the last artist personally recruited by Tupac Shakur to join the seminal hip-hop group Outlawz, has died at the age of 47. His passing on July 4th in Atlanta was confirmed by representatives and deeply mourned across the music community. Groupmate and longtime friend E.D. Imean revealed that Noble had taken his own life, underscoring the silent toll of mental illness in an industry where vulnerability is often masked. Young Noble's career was defined by his unwavering commitment to preserving the spirit and vision of Tupac. Joining the Outlawz in 1996, Noble contributed to the acclaimed posthumous album The Don Killuminati, The 7-Day Theory, including the iconic track Hail Mary. It was a defining moment in hip-hop, marking his entry into a movement that combined political defiance with raw lyricism. Over the following decades, Noble built a prolific solo catalog, most notably Noble Justice and Son of God, garnering a devoted fan base and continuing to echo the messages of struggle, survival, and spiritual strength that characterized Tupac's work. Yet behind the strength he projected, Noble battled personal demons with remarkable silence. The news of his suicide sent ripples through the hip-hop world. E.D. Imeen's tribute painted a picture of a brotherhood that spanned over 30 years, now broken by grief. Artists like Snoop Dogg and Exhibit urged fans to check on one another, using Noble's death as a wake-up call to prioritize mental wellness. In his final message on social media, Young Noble wrote, "You're going to make it. Don't give up. You are next in line for your miracle." It stands as a haunting yet hopeful legacy from a man who gave everything to the culture and community he loved. Sophia Hutchins, the dynamic entrepreneur and longtime confidant of Caitlyn Jenner, has passed away at age 29 following a tragic ATV accident in Malibu, California. Her sudden death marks the loss of a young visionary whose life bridged personal transformation with public advocacy. Born in 1995, Hutchins rose to prominence not only for her close association with Jenner, but for her own accomplishments. A graduate of Pepperdine University with a degree in economics and finance, she exemplified business acumen early by founding Lumisol, a skincare brand that reflected her commitment to wellness, innovation, and self-expression. It was a rare feat in a beauty industry often slow to embrace young, transgender entrepreneurs. Hutchins's ability to build a brand from scratch while facing intense public scrutiny remains one of her defining achievements. Her close friendship and professional relationship with Caitlyn Jenner introduced her to the spotlight, where speculation often blurred the lines between their personal and working lives. Yet Hutchins navigated this with notable composure. "We're the best of friends," Jenner once remarked, emphasizing their mutual respect and support. As the executive director of the Caitlyn Jenner Foundation, Hutchins worked tirelessly to promote transgender rights, ensuring the foundation's voice remained clear and active in a complex political landscape. Behind these successes, however, lay the persistent challenge of being a public figure in a deeply polarized era. Hutchins often faced criticism from both within and outside the LGBTQ+ community, especially following her brief political affiliations. Still, she never allowed controversy to silence her. Instead, she leaned into her authenticity, determined to lead with both courage and candor. Her final social media posts were filled with hope and encouragement, a reflection of the light she brought to many. Sophia Hutchins leaves behind not just a career of promise, but a message of resilience and clarity in a world that too often demands conformity. Peter Yarrow, the acclaimed folk musician and co-founder of the legendary trio Peter, Paul, and Mary, has died at age 86 following a 4-year battle with bladder cancer. He passed peacefully at his home in New York City on January 7th, surrounded by loved ones. Yarrow rose to prominence in the 1960s as part of the folk revival movement, with hits like If I Had a Hammer, Blowin' in the Wind, and the enduring children's classic Puff, the Magic Dragon. Yarrow and his bandmates, Mary Travers and Noel Paul Stookey, gave voice to a generation. Their performance at the 1963 March on Washington, alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., cemented their place in American cultural and civil rights history. That moment remains one of Yarrow's greatest achievements, an intersection of music and activism that defined his lifelong mission. Offstage, Yarrow co-founded Operation Respect in 1999, a national anti-bullying initiative that has reached over 22,000 schools worldwide. He also launched the Save One Child Fund, helping children access critical medical care. His legacy of humanitarian work ran parallel to his artistic contributions, emphasizing compassion, justice, and the transformative power of song. However, Yarrow's life was not without controversy. In the 1970s, he was convicted of taking indecent liberties with a minor, a crime for which he served jail time before receiving a pardon from President Jimmy Carter in 1981. The incident, later compounded by further allegations, remains a deeply troubling chapter, casting a shadow on an otherwise celebrated legacy. Yarrow is survived by his wife Mary Beth, his children Christopher and Bethany, and a granddaughter. Despite personal failings, his music and message of unity, hope, and peace continue to resonate. Lou Christie, the singer whose piercing falsetto and dramatic songwriting made him a teen idol of the 1960s, passed away on June 17, 2025, at his home in Pittsburgh. He was 82. Born Luigi Alfredo Giovanni Sacco in Glen Willard, Pennsylvania, Christie rose from local talent to national stardom with his chart-topping single Lightnin' Strikes in 1966. The song, co-written with longtime collaborator Twyla Herbert, reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on his 23rd birthday, solidifying his place among pop's most memorable voices. Lightnin' Strikes stood out for its lush orchestration and emotional urgency, capturing the turbulence of youthful love with rare theatrical flair. Yet Christie's boldness also led him into controversy. Later that same year, he released Rhapsody in the Rain, one of the first mainstream hits to reference teenage sexual intimacy directly. The line, "We were making out in the rain, and in this car our love went much too far," drew bans from several radio stations and forced MGM Records to release a censored version. While the song still climbed to number 1. 16 on the charts, the episode underscored the tension Christie often faced between artistic expression and societal norms. Drafted into the U.S. Army, Christie briefly stepped away from music, returning in 1969 with another hit, I'm Gonna Make You Mine. In the decades that followed, he expanded into genres ranging from disco to adult contemporary, and even enjoyed a resurgence with Beyond the Blue Horizon, featured in the Oscar-winning film Rain Man. Christie remained active on the oldies circuit well into his 80s, cherishing the loyalty of fans who celebrated his unique sound. In interviews, he credited his enduring voice to a peaceful lifestyle and a lifelong passion for music. Richard Greenberg, the acclaimed playwright whose work redefined modern American theater, passed away on July 5, 2025, at age 67 in Manhattan. His brother confirmed the cause was cancer. Best known for his 2003 Tony Award-winning play, Take Me Out, Greenberg combined wit, emotional clarity, and social observation into works that challenged and enriched the stage. Take Me Out, which delved into identity, masculinity, and homophobia in Major League Baseball, was a theatrical breakthrough. Its critical and cultural impact extended beyond Broadway, with a successful 2022 revival that earned 2 additional Tony Awards. Actor Dennis O'Hare, who won a Tony for originating the role of Mason Marzak, reflected, "He gave me the greatest gift ever, a beautiful character to inhabit in a beautiful play." Born in New York City in 1958, Greenberg graduated from Princeton University and earned an MFA at Yale School of Drama. His early recognition came with The Blood Letters, earning the George Oppenheimer Award, signaling the arrival of a singular voice in theater. Despite his acclaim, Greenberg faced the challenge of balancing critical praise with commercial viability. His 2013 adaptation of Breakfast at Tiffany's struggled on Broadway, drawing lukewarm reviews and limited success. Yet Greenberg's resilience remained steadfast. "He wore his brilliance lightly, often cloaked in hilarity," said director Robert Falls, who had been collaborating with Greenberg on a new adaptation of Holiday Set for a 2025 premiere. His vast body of work included Eastern Standard, The American Plan, 3 Days of Rain, a Pulitzer finalist, and The Dazzle. Greenberg's characters were often flawed but deeply human, speaking to audiences across generations. He is survived by his brother and extended family. Richard Greenberg leaves behind a powerful legacy of literary depth, social introspection, and theatrical excellence. Anne Burrell, the exuberant and instantly recognizable Food Network personality, passed away unexpectedly on June 17, 2025, at her home in Brooklyn. She was 55. According to the New York Police Department, she was found unresponsive and was pronounced dead at the scene. While the official cause of death is pending autopsy, early investigations suggest a possible drug overdose. Burrell rose to national prominence with her Emmy-nominated show Secrets of a Restaurant Chef, where her dynamic teaching style and commanding culinary skills inspired viewers. Her unmistakable blonde hair and infectious energy made her a household name. She became a cornerstone of the Food Network, most notably co-hosting Worst Cooks in America for 28 seasons. Her ability to turn kitchen disasters into determined cooks showcased her unique blend of humor, patience, and authority. A hallmark achievement in Burrell's career was her New York Times best-selling cookbook, Cook Like a Rock Star, 2011. It not only reflected her passion for food, but also her mission to empower home cooks. "I want to show people they can take control of their kitchens," she said in a 2013 interview. Yet, behind her commanding public persona, Anne faced private challenges. The recent circumstances surrounding her death have cast a spotlight on potential struggles with mental health and prescription drug use. Friends reported she had appeared upbeat just days before her death, performing in an improv show and planning social gatherings, underscoring the silent battles many may endure. Longtime colleague Tyler Florence remembered her as a legendary chef and an even better friend, while encouraging others to check in on loved ones. Anne Burrell leaves behind her husband, Stuart Claxton, his son Javier, her mother Marlene, and her siblings Jane and Ben. Her legacy endures through the countless aspiring cooks she mentored, her trailblazing television presence, and the joy she brought to kitchens nationwide. Lynn Ban, acclaimed jewelry designer and cast member of Bling Empire, New York, passed away on January 20th at the age of 52, following complications from a skiing accident and emergency brain surgery. Her death was confirmed by her son, Sebastian, who described her as the best mother and my best friend. Born in Singapore and based in New York, Lynn Ban rose to international prominence with her bold, avant-garde jewelry creations. Her success culminated in designing for cultural icons such as Rihanna, Madonna, Lady Gaga, and Beyoncé. Her pieces, regularly featured in Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, and W Magazine, blended art and fashion in daring, unforgettable statements. "Fashion is my passion and my creative outlet," she told Vogue Singapore in 2023. "I love becoming a character through my style." A pinnacle of her career came with the launch of Bling Empire, New York, where she brought her vibrant personality and unfiltered glamour to screens globally. The Netflix reality series offered glimpses into her professional life, family bond, and personal philosophy, marked by confidence and love. Tragically, her journey took a sudden turn on Christmas Eve during a ski trip in Aspen. A seemingly minor fall led to a delayed diagnosis of a severe brain bleed. Despite initial signs of recovery and her own social media updates about healing, complications ultimately claimed her life. Her passing echoes her own words, "In a blink of an eye, life can change." Lynn's legacy extends beyond celebrity circles. She was a devoted wife to Jet Kane and a nurturing mother. Her son remembered her courage and humor during recovery. She always had a smile, even when times were tough. With her distinctive voice in fashion and her resilience in adversity, Lynn Ban leaves behind not only a body of work admired worldwide, but also a message of boldness, love, and strength. Jill Sobule, the acclaimed singer-songwriter behind the groundbreaking 1995 hit I Kissed a Girl, has passed away at 66 following a house fire in Minneapolis. Her death, confirmed on May 1st, marks the end of a pioneering career that redefined pop music and queer visibility in mainstream culture. Sobule's defining success came with I Kissed a Girl, a song that reached the Billboard Top 20 and became one of the first openly LGBTQ+ anthems to achieve mainstream recognition. Released nearly a decade before conversations around queer identity entered pop's mainstream, the song opened doors for countless artists who followed. Beyond its commercial achievement, the track marked a cultural shift, offering representation and visibility to a generation of listeners who had rarely seen themselves reflected in pop lyrics. "She made us feel seen long before it was trendy," noted a tribute from activist and comedian Margaret Cho. However, Sobule's career was not without hardship. After initial label challenges, her debut album produced by Todd Rundgren underperformed, and a second album was shelved. She struggled with industry expectations that often stifled her creative range. Even after the success of her self-titled 1995 album, she found the commercial pop framework limiting. In response, Sobule became an early adopter of crowdfunding, raising $75,000 in 2008 to release California Years independently. This pioneering step not only reaffirmed her autonomy, but also set a model later used by countless independent artists. Over 3 decades, Sobule released 12 albums, wrote for television, and brought deeply personal stories to the stage, most recently in the autobiographical musical FCK 7th Grade. Her lyrics, often laced with humor and unflinching honesty, tackled themes from politics to adolescence, always from a place of radical empathy. She is survived by her brother James and his family. Jill Sobule leaves behind a legacy of courage, originality, and unwavering advocacy for those often left unheard. Loren Ruch, the influential head of content at HGTV and co-host of the 2021 series HGTV House Party, has died at the age of 55 following a battle with acute myeloid leukemia. He passed away on June 12, 2025, leaving behind a legacy defined by innovation, compassion, and creative excellence. Ruch's most enduring professional achievement came through his transformative leadership at HGTV, where he served as a top executive since 2008. Under his guidance, the network evolved into a powerhouse of lifestyle programming. His vision brought to life celebrated series such as HGTV Dream Home, A Very Brady Renovation, Celebrity IOU, and Extreme Makeover, Home Edition. These shows not only entertained, but also touched lives, merging aspirational storytelling with heartfelt human narratives. Colleagues consistently described Ruch as the glue that held creative teams together, fostering both innovation and unity. Behind this success, Ruch faced a deeply personal challenge. Diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, he continued to lead with resilience and dedication until the end. His illness, aggressive and fast-moving, underscored the remarkable strength with which he carried out his work and personal commitments. Warner Brothers television group chair Channing Dungay paid tribute to his spirit, noting that Loren built not only hit shows, but enduring relationships. His impact stretched far beyond the screen. HGTV stars, including Jasmine Roth and Bobby Burke, shared moving tributes, emphasizing his warmth, mentorship, and unwavering belief in the power of storytelling. Roth remembered him as a dreamer and the real deal, while Burke called him a warm light in a dark world. Ruch is survived by his husband, David Salas, and extended family. Donations in his memory may be made to the Elisa Ann Ruch Burn Foundation or Be the Match. His legacy, rooted in empathy and imagination, continues to resonate across the television industry. Peter Jason, the revered character actor whose face became a fixture across 5 decades of American film and television, has passed away at the age of 80. He died on February 20th at his home in West Hollywood, with cancer confirmed as the cause. With more than 260 credits to his name, Jason's greatest success lay in his enduring collaborations and chameleonic performances. A standout achievement was his work with director John Carpenter, who cast him in 7 of his cult classics, including They Live, 1988, Prince of Darkness, 1987, and Escape from L.A., 1996. Carpenter, paying tribute on social media, called Jason a dear friend and one of the great character actors in cinema. While his roles were often supporting, Jason brought depth and humanity to every scene. As Con Stapleton in HBO's Deadwood, Jason captured the chaotic mix of frontier ambition and flawed loyalty. He reprised the role in Deadwood, the movie, 2019, earning renewed praise for his authenticity and gravitas. Off-screen, Jason faced one of his greatest challenges with quiet resilience, a battle with cancer that ended a career marked by consistency and integrity. His passing leaves a void among colleagues who regarded him as generous, grounded, and a consummate professional. Actor Matthew Asner called him the brightest light and remembered his deep friendship with the late Ed Asner. "I hope you and my dad are up there laughing your asses off." Beyond his filmography, which includes The Hunt for Red October, Adaptation, and Mortal Kombat, Jason's voice resonated in the Gears of War video game series, demonstrating his adaptability in a changing entertainment landscape. He is survived by his wife, Eileen Rosalie, and 2 children, Robin and Andrew. Peter Jason leaves behind not just a catalog of memorable roles, but a legacy of quiet excellence that shaped the craft of character acting. Lynn Hamilton, the revered stage and screen actress best known for her portrayal of Donna Harris on Sanford and Son, passed away peacefully on June 19th at the age of 95. Surrounded by her grandchildren and caregivers, she died of natural causes, closing a chapter in American television history. Hamilton's defining success came with her role as Donna Harris, Fred Sanford's poised and compassionate fiancée on the groundbreaking 1970s sitcom. Originally cast as a guest character, her commanding presence and chemistry with Red Fox earned her a recurring role, an unusual trajectory for African-American actresses at the time. She became one of the first Black women to embody a romantic lead in primetime television, offering a dignified counterbalance to the show's comedic edge. Her portrayal resonated with audiences and paved the way for more nuanced representations of Black women on screen. Yet, despite her success, Hamilton faced industry barriers rooted in systemic limitations. After Sanford and Son concluded, she was notably absent from its 1980 revival series, a decision she neither anticipated nor understood. In interviews, she reflected candidly on the disappointment of not being called back, despite her character's popularity. This omission echoed a larger trend of marginalization that many black actresses of her generation endured. Still, Hamilton persisted, continuing her career with roles in The Waltons, Roots, The Next Generations, Lady Sings the Blues, and Curb Your Enthusiasm well into her later years. Born in Yazoo City, Mississippi, in 1930, and trained at the Goodman School of Drama in Chicago, Hamilton's early career included theater and film before transitioning to television. Alongside her late husband, playwright Frank Jenkins, she also brought African-American narratives to life on stage. Hamilton's legacy lies not just in her performances, but in her quiet defiance of limitation, embodying characters with warmth, dignity, and strength. Her work continues to inspire generations of artists and viewers alike. Garth Hudson, the last surviving member of the band and one of rock music's most innovative instrumentalists, passed away peacefully on January 21, 2025, at age 87 in Woodstock, New York. His death, announced by the group's official representatives, marks the close of a foundational chapter in American music. A classically trained musician from Windsor, Ontario, Hudson's greatest professional triumph came through his role in shaping the signature sound of the band, particularly on their 1968 debut Music from Big Pink. Rejecting the traditional Hammond organ, Hudson adopted the Lowrey organ, customized its sound, and delivered a soaring, haunting quality that elevated songs like Chest Fever and Up on Cripple Creek into the rock canon. As Robbie Robertson once said, he played in a more complex way than anybody we had ever jammed with. Hudson's Baroque influences and command of multiple instruments, from clavinet to saxophone, set a new standard for rock arrangements. Yet alongside his artistic acclaim, Hudson faced considerable personal and financial hardship. Despite decades of celebrated work with Bob Dylan, Van Morrison, and Leonard Cohen, Hudson struggled in later years with economic instability. The loss of his Malibu home in a wildfire, coupled with royalties disputes and eventual bankruptcy, left him in fragile circumstances. His belongings were once auctioned off due to unpaid rent. Hudson himself described his role modestly. "My job was to provide arrangements behind good poets." This humility, while endearing, also highlighted the often overlooked challenges faced by legacy artists in preserving financial security. Hudson's death concludes a monumental legacy of sound and vision. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1994 and honored with a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2008, his influence endures not only in recordings, but in the emotional depth he brought to popular music. Survived by a lifetime of compositions and fans, Garth Hudson remains a silent architect of music that moved generations. Langley Perer, acclaimed producer and former manager at Mosaic Media Group, passed away on June 25, 2025, at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles after a 4-year battle with cancer. She was 44. Known for her vibrant energy and unwavering creative vision, Perer leaves behind a legacy that helped shape a new generation of storytellers in Hollywood. Perer began her career at the Gersh Agency before rising to prominence at Bender Spink and then Mosaic, where she joined in 2011. As a manager and producer, she nurtured talents such as Olivia Milch and Max Nichols, and played key roles in films like the Arthur remake starring Russell Brand, I Am Number 4, and the coming-of-age comedy Dude. Her colleagues described her as fearless and fiercely devoted to authentic storytelling. Mosaic founder Jimmy Miller recalled, "She was the brightest of lights, one of the great broads of all time." A standout accomplishment in Perer's career was the cultivation of bold, youthful narratives that blended commercial appeal with emotional depth. Her influence helped push boundaries, especially in projects like Dude, which candidly portrayed the complexities of adolescence. Creating with Langley was one of the greatest gifts of my life, writer-director Olivia Milch said. She brought joy to the pursuit of profound truths. Despite her career momentum, Perer faced the life-altering challenge of a cancer diagnosis. She stepped away from Mosaic in 2017 to prioritize family and began developing a dark comedy titled Treatable, inspired by her experience with illness. Even in adversity, her drive to create and to confront hard truths with humor and grace remained undiminished. Alongside her artistic work, Perer raised over $1 million for the Kiki Fund to support leptomeningeal cancer research. She is survived by her husband, writer-producer Scott Rosenberg, and their children, Sawyer and Bowie. Langley Perer's enduring spirit will live on through the artists she championed, the stories she told, and the hope she inspired in others. Hello, and thank you for coming back to the channel. Do you know who Hollywood legend John Joseph Travolta is, and what's been going on with him lately? Stay tuned until the end to find out what really happened to him. Before we unravel the layers of his long, complex life, his soaring fame, his private grief, his moments of quiet strength, we want to hear from you. On a scale from 0 to 10, how has John Travolta shaped your love for film and Hollywood? Was it his moves on the dance floor, his soulful eyes on screen, or his grace behind the scenes that left a mark? Tell us in the comments below. Your memories matter here. When you think of Hollywood in its golden, glittering moments, you probably picture someone like him, John Travolta. The name alone carries a glow of stardom. He danced, he sang, he cried, he conquered. His charm transcended the screen, his smile lit up eras. From Saturday Night Fever to Grease, from Pulp Fiction to Hairspray, he defied category and time. Audiences didn't just watch him, they followed him through decades, through shifts in style, through quiet absences and unexpected returns. But as with all enduring stars, there is always more than what shines under the spotlight. Behind the perfect hair, the smooth voice, and the effortless charisma lived a man marked by depth, devotion, and an ache that never fully faded. Fame came fast for Travolta, but so did loss. The more he gave to the screen, the more it quietly cost him. And yet, he never stopped showing up, never stopped trying to find meaning through it all. After all the applause and glitter, what do we truly remember? We remember the disco lights of Saturday Night Fever, the slicked back hair of Grease, the cool swagger of Vincent Vega in Pulp Fiction. But have we ever stopped to ask, what was happening behind those iconic eyes? John Travolta wasn't just acting, he was surviving. When he shot to fame in the late 1970s, he did so like a rocket, explosive, dazzling, unstoppable. Saturday Night Fever wasn't just a film, it was a movement, a cultural reset. Travolta became the face of an era. Then came Grease, and suddenly he wasn't just a star, he was the heartthrob of an entire generation. But let's pause for a moment. While audiences around the world cheered for him, Travolta was holding on to a private sorrow that few knew. Just as his career was taking flight, life delivered a devastating blow. In 1977, his partner, actress Diana Hyland, died of breast cancer. She was 41. He was only 23. She passed away in his arms. Can you imagine the weight of that moment? The grief of losing your first great love while the world is busy celebrating your success? Travolta once said that Diana was the love of his life. And from that day forward, he carried her memory with him into every role, every red carpet, every smile for the camera. His pain didn't pause the spotlight, but it forever changed how he moved within it. And perhaps that's what audiences felt, even if they didn't know it. That under the charm, under the cool, was a man already marked by loss, So, what kept him going? Hollywood didn't wait. The next film, the next performance, the next press tour, they all arrived like clockwork. And Travolta, ever the professional, delivered. Yet behind the scenes, that smile often hid fatigue. That dance carried the echo of absence. He didn't complain. He didn't step away. He transformed. Through his grief, he learned how to live in two worlds, the one the audience saw and the one he kept for himself. What do you think it takes to keep showing up like that? To keep dancing while your heart is breaking? John Travolta didn't just give us characters. He gave us pieces of himself. Quietly, bravely, consistently. And in doing so, he reminded us that the brightest stars often burn with the deepest silence. What are your thoughts so far? Do you remember when you first saw Travolta on screen? Let us know how he touched your life in the comments below. By the late 80s, the glow of Travolta's early fame had begun to dim. A string of box office misfires had critics questioning whether his time in the spotlight had come and gone. The man who once defined cool was now being counted out. But if there's one thing we've learned about John Travolta, it's that he doesn't stay down for long. Just when it seemed like Hollywood had moved on, Quentin Tarantino came knocking. Travolta's role as Vincent Vega in Pulp Fiction, 1994, was more than a comeback. It was a resurrection. With his hair slicked back and a look of disaffected charm, he waltzed back onto the screen and into the hearts of a new generation. The performance earned him an Academy Award nomination and reminded everyone why they had fallen in love with him in the first place. It wasn't just acting, it was reinvention. And it wasn't the last time he would do it. From musicals like Hairspray, where he donned a fat suit and heels to play Edna Turnblad, to action-packed thrillers and heartfelt dramas, Travolta proved he could disappear into any role, however unconventional. And he did it all while continuing to shoulder personal struggles the public couldn't see. This chapter of his career wasn't about proving others wrong, it was about proving to himself that he still had something to give. So many stars fear fading. Travolta welcomed the quiet and used it to surprise us. What do you think it takes to keep evolving in an industry that often discards its heroes the moment they falter? How does someone rebuild their legacy in full view of the world? Travolta didn't chase fame, he redefined it. And in doing so, he reminded us that true stars don't burn out, they simply shine differently. But for all the roles, applause, and reinventions, nothing would test John Travolta more than what came later. In 2009, the Travolta family was struck by an unimaginable tragedy, the sudden death of his 16-year-old son, Jet. The loss was not just a private heartbreak, it was a public wound, one that unfolded under the scrutiny of headlines and whispers. Jet had long suffered from seizures, and his death while on vacation in the Bahamas shattered the family. Travolta, in his own words, said he didn't know if he could survive it. Have you ever looked at someone and realized the pain behind their eyes? That's what many fans began to notice in Travolta in the years that followed. He smiled, he spoke kindly, he acted, but there was a heaviness, a weariness that clung to his presence. And yet, he kept going. He returned to work. He stood by his wife, the late Kelly Preston, as she fought her own silent battle with breast cancer, one she kept private until the very end. When she passed away in 2020, the grief doubled. The weight grew unbearable, and still, Travolta didn't disappear. He chose to share his sorrow, to honor their memories, and to show his children, Ella and Benjamin, that strength isn't about hiding the pain. It's about carrying it with love. In interviews, Travolta speaks with a softness now, a man who has learned, through great loss, the value of time, presence, and truth. He no longer rushes toward fame. He walks slowly, intentionally, with grace. And maybe that's the greatest lesson he's given us, not how to perform, but how to endure. Have you felt that kind of loss? If so, it changes everything. Let's talk about it in the comments. Because sometimes, the most healing thing we can do is remember together. These days, John Travolta lives life at a gentler pace. There are no frantic premieres, no endless press circuits. Instead, there are quiet mornings, shared moments with his children, and a deepening connection to the simple joys of life. He hasn't stopped working entirely. From time to time, he returns to the screen, not to chase relevance, but to choose roles that speak to his heart. Whether it's a small indie film or a voiceover project, Travolta is selective, thoughtful, and unburdened by the pressure to prove anything. What's most striking is the peace he now carries, the kind of calm that can only come after having faced life's fiercest storms and survived. In interviews, he reflects on love, family, and the resilience it takes to move forward. He speaks of his late wife and son not with bitterness, but with honor. He smiles when talking about Ella's own rise in Hollywood and beams when sharing stories of his youngest, Benjamin. He's no longer just the man who once lit up the dance floor. He's a father, a teacher, a quiet force, and through his stillness, he speaks volumes. Travolta reminds us that sometimes the most powerful legacy isn't in the spotlight, but in the way we continue after the lights have dimmed. What legacy do you think Travolta is building now? Let us know in the comments. Because even in silence, stories continue to unfold. John Travolta's journey has never been just about fame. It's been about transformation. From the disco king of the 70s to a reflective father who carries both sorrow and hope, Travolta's life shows us that resilience isn't a single moment. It's a lifetime of choices. But let's be honest, his journey hasn't been easy. From the unimaginable loss of his first love, Diana Hyland, to the heart-wrenching death of his son, Jet, and later his wife, Kelly Preston, Travolta has endured wave after wave of grief. And yet, through it all, he never gave up. He didn't collapse under the weight of loss. He rose with it, folded it into his spirit, and used it to deepen his compassion, his humanity, his art. This isn't just the story of an actor. It's the story of a man who stared down life's cruelest moments and kept walking, who chose to raise his children with strength and gentleness, who re-entered the spotlight not for glory, but to share his truth and to remind us that we are not alone in our heartbreak. Travolta has become more than a Hollywood icon. He's become a symbol of survival, of how to rebuild with dignity after devastation, of how to find meaning in the wake of loss. His story has touched those who faced their own grief, their own doubts, their own unexpected turns in life. He may not headline blockbusters every year, but his presence still moves people. His vulnerability, once kept behind the scenes, is now his quiet strength. And in that truth, we find a deeper connection to him, not just as an actor, but as a human being. So, as we reflect on John Travolta's legacy, let's ask ourselves, what will we carry forward from his story? The performances, yes, but also the perseverance. The dance moves, of course, but also the moments he stood still and simply endured. Travolta has given us more than entertainment. He's given us a masterclass in living. Now we turn it to you. If John's story has stirred something within you, hit that like button, drop a comment below sharing your thoughts or memories, and don't forget to share this video with others who need a reminder that even in life's darkest chapters, there's still a path to light. Because remembering is powerful, and sharing is how we keep these stories alive.